The Government of Saint Lucia is taking a bold step towards securing a brighter future for its youth. Minister for Equity, Social Justice and Empowerment, Honorable Joachim Henry, provided an update on the ambitious project to transform the former George Charles Secondary School into a state-of-the-art youth services center. This new facility is set to replace outdated institutions, including the Boys Training Center and the Uptown Girls Garden Center, offering a comprehensive range of care, support, and educational services for at-risk youth.
We're moving in the phase of the working drawings and the tender dossiers, so hopefully we could realize the transformation or repurposing of the George Charles Secondary School into the first class, I think it would be the best in the region, of a juvenile center for rehabilitation, for engineering the mind of our young people, so that they can continue making a contribution to our society.
Aiming to offer more than just a new building and improved programs, the minister highlighted the opportunity to shift away from the negative stigma often linked with traditional institutions. Addressing potential concerns, Henry also discussed the plans for a co-ed living arrangement at the center.
They would be demarcated, they would have their own space. The security purposes that you can have a facility where you have young men and young women, girls and boys, but of course with the management of them, it happens in the Bacalet Juvenile Center in Grenada. There are young boys and young girls and they are recording tremendous success.
The minister also emphasized the practical and economic advantages of a co-ed living arrangement.
The issue of our young men and women, what most times society are afraid of is what happens to young men and women, whether they are in a juvenile center, whether they are at school and what have you. We have positive feedback in some juvenile centers when young men and young women, for example, if you have a musical class, they meet at that point where they interface doing music together. The cost of having to an institution where you're providing musical for young men, and at another institution you have to repeat, you're doing cooking or some skills, but you have it separated. That is very costly for the taxpayers. So there are times when in a juvenile center, young men and women will be in the same class, but for the practical purposes of how they live, there will be separation, there will be managed, there will be controls.
The Youth Services Center will be much more than a residential facility. It will offer a range of services that address the educational, emotional, and psychological needs of its residents. This project is also part of a broader national strategy to invest in the well-being and empowerment of young people, recognizing them as key to the country's development. For Choice News Now, I am Direct Liner.